ProfessionalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Brief. Oh, look at that. I've got a whopping 2 people watching. Woo! I think actually we have probably more on, we just lost Cotter. Limited audiences these days. That's definitely for sure. If anything, we all have to be a little bit cautious. I won't show you the crypto breadth because that's supposed to be behind our paywall and all that kind of fun stuff. And I'll only show you signals after the fact there. But basic site members, 3 or 30-day trial people kind of stuff, you get access to this overview page. And I think this histogram, I've talked to you at lots about this over the past months, quarters, years. If anything, interesting disconnect here. We have basically the country funds or the world equity markets all on their knees and actually looking rather washed out. And then on the exact flip side of the equation, we actually have a situation where crypto is now egregiously overbought on both the short and medium term. I suppose, I don't know, I don't really like to show it in public, but I'll just give you a quick boo. Crypto breadth is right up at the top end of the range. It's not actually officially overbought yet, which is kind of interesting. But you can see the entire crypto universe very, very overbought, and all it's going to take is somebody to sneeze, and that could roll over very, very easily. So once again, I think TRI's proprietary algos are doing their job. They are flashing major warning signs. So just understand what you're getting involved in. And, we do have a FOMC meeting coming up here. And if we look at the crypto charts, I like to keep an eye, especially for like the weekend shows. We have these fun narratives. We did have a bullish bot set up here, just, fire 3 higher lows, live by the sword, die by the sword. If it works, great. If it doesn't, obey risk management, get the hell out of there. And if this thing does M out here, you can see it now. I think it's pretty plain as day. Up, down, up. If we break down through these lows, that will trip up this bot stop. And of course, that'll be the market smiling at us. And we're all supposed to know what we think when we see the market smiling at us. So be forewarned, everybody. Writing is on the walls. Unfortunately, in a trader's life, we are paid to be uncomfortable. You really don't know whether this thing's just going to go sideways and continue marching its way higher. It's doubtful given the breadth of the market. Or do we go and M out, and then we have to start cleaning up all the excesses of this big move up here. So just understand what the backdrop is. And of course, we are through that lunar and solar eclipse cycle. So that's played out now. And of course, now we have a big FOMC events coming down the pike. And if I understand correctly, it's a weird 2-day meeting. It's like literally today and tomorrow. So tomorrow is, of course, their official announcement, and I think I had actually a sheet up here, but I'm not quite sure what I did with it. No, doesn't look like I have it here. But we can go FOMC November meeting dates. Hopefully that pulls something up that we can use here just to show you. It's a really it's an odd one where it sort of spans the end of one month and the beginning of the next month. Very rarely do they do that, but anyway, they've done it here this time. And of course, November, we'll say 23. And people are joking with me earlier, Brian, you're always just sort of ad-libbing. Anyway, there it is there, October 31st to November 1st. So it's kind of an odd month end, Halloween, dun, dun, dun. And then November 1st tomorrow. And actually, we should probably, for fun, we'll throw up our FOMC chat room while they're doing the press conference. and we'll throw up our matrix of charts and listen to what Chair Powell says, and whether any of the media audience members want to have Jerry's baby. That was a fun joke. I suppose it's not really that jokey nowadays. I think everybody is starting to hate Chair Powell now for all of his interest rate increases. But anyway, we've got that. So with this sort of backdrop, I can understand it's a bit of a choppy day. You look at the actual stock market, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. This is an interesting situation. You've got the Dow actually down a couple points. You got the NASDAQ down a few points, but you got the S&P 500 up. How the hell is that happening? And that's because the Russell 2000, the small cap market, right? This is the S&P 500. There's the NASDAQ 100. There's the Dow 30. So obviously the smaller cap part of the market is actually driving the bus today. That's pretty rare. Unfortunately, though, this is kind of you don't really want to see this sign heading into a Fed meeting, because the old expression goes, buy the rumor, sell the news, or sell the rumor, buy the news. So they're buying the rumor on the small cap market. Of course, remember, small cap market is most interest rate sensitive. So are they looking for the small cap market to roll over following the Fed announcement? And then conversely, I suppose, if they're selling tech and they're selling the big Dow stocks, is that sell the rumor and then buy the news tomorrow? Tough to say right now. Looking at sort of the daily routine, trying to get sort of back into the swing of things through the weekend. I was full of piss and vinegar yesterday. Unfortunately, full of piss and vinegar, but that doesn't mean that your trade setups are guaranteed to work. And ironically enough, 2 days in a row, we've had the opening range trade fail. As I sort of my affirmations say, and actually I didn't even type that in here today, but as the affirmations say, I want to be the demonstrator of best practices. So I just literally took the opening range trade and just traded it to fruition, went short on the fail of that low and instantly got stopped out. See you later. That's the way it goes. Interesting price action. You can see that basically a lack of drivers here, and with the Fed tomorrow, I think that makes sense. We also had some econs coming out at like 6:15, 6:30 kind of stuff. I even one at 6 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. So this was just like stopwatch central, back and forth, because what I like to do with the combine, the top step kids, is if I have a successful opening range trade, then I'll use those monies to risk further setups through the day. If I have an unsuccessful opening range trade, then I just close down the combine. I just hop on over to sim and paper trading. So that's what I was doing basically for the rest of the morning. I had two trades today. One was a bearish bot that just instantly got they like literally triggered the bot entry, which was right here of this triple top breakdown. And interestingly enough, before the opening range trade started, I actually mapped out ideal trade location, and through the opening range trade, they actually tagged my opening range trade location right through there, and then they dumped the market back down. Jerks. Anyway, that's here nor there. But you can see I took this triple top fail with my stop just above here. And again, a great commentary on the illiquidity of today's market. You could see that literally the trade was working in our favor. Oh, we're looking so smart. Oh, look at us. And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, they just turn the market straight back up and just run this overnight highs and then break the damn market down. So anyway, took a short shot, got stopped out. Relatively small loss. Took another short shot, took some profits, and I'm running the runner right now. And if anything, in recent trades, I got a little sloppy ahead of these daily briefs and took these trades off just because I didn't want to have to stress about it. Fuck it. Leave the damn thing on. Stop is at scratch. If I get stopped out at scratch on this runner, so be it. Just got to leave it. But what a great commentary of an illiquid market where they're just running stops right, left, and center. And actually interesting, this cute little I picked a level to take some profits. It was a tag of settlement there. But also, too, this was also a Foggenbaum, the big old double top, the chaos theory 2.618. What a great analogy of that level. So, if you're watching these videos and you want to try and learn something new, consider adding chaos levels to your day trading. They work great as profit taking levels. So that played out. And then I noticed, oh, look, just even while we were getting the video going here, that a new little double tops come in. So interesting how the bottom of the VWAP standard deviation bands is 2.618. Also interesting too how 4669 is basically right into this tail, which is into that previous 2.618. So we'll see whether this thing's got legs, but long and short of it is I'm on a runner here, and we'll see what happens. Maybe that'll make you a whole pile of money. I don't know. It was interesting on sort of a broader, well, you know what? I'll go through this. Got to move pretty quickly here, although I don't know whether Stuart's going to join us today. Tuesday is a CTO day for the Afterparty show. Stuart comes on, talks a little bit about site development. So as soon as he sort of shows up and I see him ready to go, then I'm going to end this free broadcast and we'll head on over and chat with Stuart. Always a pleasure chatting with him. And if you want to learn more about how all the algos and the breadth indicator and all that kind of stuff is put together, it's always a good idea to ask Stuart when he's on the call with us. So what I did want to do while going through sort of our regular routine is our daily checklist, just a review of the bigger markets. So first and foremost, what's sort of the drivers here today? The headlines this morning were all about European inflation rates are very low, but at the same time, too, GDP numbers out of the euro area are contracting. Canadian GDP is basically non-existent, basically a flat line, which makes sense because this is the part of the market that should break. And I've talked to you guys at length about that. We don't need to go into substitute drama teacher idiocy. So I'll be watching this. It's interesting how Mexico, with the whole idea that we're going to be killing this whole globalization theme, repatriating all the sort of outsourcing of business from Asia back to countries like Mexico, take advantage of their cheap labor pool. Mexico just keeps rocking it. So pretty impressive performance there. Other than that, it's interesting to see Japan was down a huge chunk yesterday, but it was up a huge chunk here today. So kind of a mixed bag there. Then the actual econs themselves, it wasn't a heavy day, but keep in mind, we do have FOMC tomorrow. So any kind of data that's going to support either raise or lowering of interest rates was going to probably get special attention. And one thing that jumped out at me when you can see I do this report just about 5 o'clock, 5:30 my time. So you can see employment cost indexes were all coming out. And you notice this ticked slightly higher. This was up 50% from expectations. That's not a good sign. Wages. Oh, the Fed doesn't want to see that. And then, of course, employment cost index, again, same sort of thing with wages. It also almost a 50% better than expectations. That can't be good for all those people who are wanting to see lower short-term interest rates. So I think to a certain degree that explains the negativity in the stock market here today. In that I just can't see the Fed lowering interest rates anytime soon. Also, did notice, hey, look at that, my crude trade's working back in my favor again. That's good to see. Did notice too that looking at the internals, where are we here? I want to be on this page. The US dollar index ratcheting higher, but again, if anything, I almost kind of wanted to see this thing down on the day. Again, sell the rumor, buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. If this thing is rip-roaring rallying today, then what that says is that probably following the Fed announcement, we're going to get this thing to roll over. And of course, stock markets all go booming higher. And I kind of see that when I go through sort of my daily routine of the stock market. Crude's testing the bottom end of the range. gold keeps pressing the highs, and sadly, this is basically what gold's supposed to do through this part of the cycle. Go back and look at the early 1980s. Gold did very, very well. Newmont just went absolutely crazy as the biggest gold stock in the world. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily going to call a top here in the gold market here just yet. I do think it is kind of frothy. But geez, sure is catching a bid on a consistent basis recently. Um, and I suppose we can circle around. And if anything, this has me scratching my head a little bit. You know, US dollar index, that should be bearish of the gold price, just if nothing else. Gold is being priced in US dollars. And if anything, oh, interesting. Now the gold is coming off a chunk. There's this silver. Poor old, what's that guy's name? Kawasaki guy. He's just uber bullish as silver, and silver just can't get going here. Anyway, it is what it is. There's this stock market potentially rolling over. Interesting how NASDAQ just put in a cute little double top. And isn't it interesting how this sort of darling of the market there, good old Mr. Musk, his stock just can't buy a friend here now. Down again, big chunks. Interesting to see if this comes into this 2-to-1 of this entire key reversal trade setup here. Also, other double tops. So we've been talking about this short setup for quite a while now. So fascinating to see him come down. And ironically enough, if Toyota Motor Company can come back down against its bottom, actually, I would be interested in investing in this. I don't know whether I really want to touch Tesla. And also, too, Toyota's actually introducing a whole bunch of electronic electric vehicles and hybrids, and I think they even have one that's run off of urine or something like that, ammonia. So I guess the classic stock market, no, the classic broader economy proxies, things like Toyota Motor Company, are getting into this electric vehicle space. So that's probably one reason why Tesla's sort of like it's had its hurrah. Anyway, interesting to see him continue to work his way lower. I was also quite surprised to see, and I've said this to you guys recently, this NVIDIA looking very dangerous here now. Are we actually head and shouldersing out? You can see earnings is still way over here, but it is interesting to see that technically speaking, this thing's weakening. Now, having said that, it's the Fed day, and we might find that it's sort of a sell the rumor, buy the news following tomorrow's event. And I was sort of circling around back to that. So let's see if I can get back on that conversation. When I looked at the stock market first thing this morning, you can see my note is 4-hour inverted head and shoulders. That's kind of what it feels like here. Notice there is the 4-hour chart, moving averages. Right now, I would call this a moving average sandwich. So you can see the range is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Off of the daily charts, this is basically a 3-bar fractal you can see down here. And that 3-bar fractal actually technically has fired with the push up here in the overnight market. Now, as we had said there a moment ago, the stock markets all look kind of waffly here right now. So I'm wondering whether maybe everybody's just on pause. You can see M starting to try. Oh, look at that on the ES, and actual M has come in. Actually, lower time frames, you can see there's a nice little empire top pattern trying to form there. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is if we can resolve bullishly through this neckline area. And it's interesting too how there's a price gap right there that's probably acting as a bit of a ceiling. And then you could argue this low over here is sort of Wyckoff check, market structure failure. So if you see the market up through this 4,200 area, we'll call it, I think the stock market's back in rally mode. 13 EMAs all the way up at 42.35. So you might find, that's about 7-8% jump right there. If we do get that, I think key horizontal support and resistance, you can see there's a little bit of a price gap from back, what is that? I guess about the 20th of October, which is all the way up around 4,300. And that's the 30 SMA and the 200 SMA. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the stock market. That sort of buy the rumor, sell the news kind of scenario is do we get, hey, nice to see oil's coming off here. Good. You just keep going, oil. But actually, and I don't know whether I think I mentioned this. I don't know whether we were recording or not, but on this site, of course, we have the weekly commodity trend survey. Actually, let's finish the stock market thought and then I'll jump over here. So there's your ES daily charts looking heavy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't have any sort of, oh my goodness, this is a big buy pivot here. But you can kind of see there's the POC right there. 40, what is that? That's like 43, almost 4,400, way up there. There is the 13 EMA on the weekly chart, 30 SMA on the weekly chart, 30 SMA on the weekly chart. Should align with the 200 SMA on the daily chart. And again, there's sort of the POC of this entire market. And this would be, of course, horizontal support and resistance. So I guess what I'm trying to say here in a nutshell is I wouldn't be surprised if on the other side of this FOMC meeting, there's some sort of dead cat bounce back up into this moving average resistance up top here. Don't really have anything compelling momentum wise. I think I would just call this dead cat bounce. Maybe we're trying to form some sort of bottom. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And as you can kind of see, you've probably heard me talk about this before. If you get one of these 1.618 event setups, so this is A, B, C, D, tags 1.618, 9,999 times out of 10,000, you're going to get some sort of dead cat bounce. So you can see on the daily chart, there is that 3-bar fractal that I was talking about and a little bounce. Maybe it looks something along these lines, but a little bounce here in the market off that 1.618 off of value low. That would make sense to me. Actually, interesting looking at this chart right here. You can see how this node here needs a lot of volume though to fill this in. So we need some serious buyers to actually come in here, maybe even just a few days of just consolidating a bit to actually give the market ammunition to push higher. So I don't think it's going to be explosive straight line up, but I wouldn't be surprised if you find that over a period of time here, we work our way back up in the stock market. Let's get on the other side of the Fed tomorrow. You might even find that maybe even the Fed event, right? Don't trust the first hour of trading, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that sets up that pivot there. I suppose, what time is it here? 24? Yeah, we should probably wind this up pretty soon. Let's talk a little Bitcoin. As I had mentioned there a few minutes ago, there was a cute little trend continuation trade setup that fired here through the weekend. We do have 3 higher lows, so it'll just do its thing. It isn't really a hell of a lot that's happened here. I mean, this trade's off like a whopping $30, big deal. I think that really the market here is actually range bound. And actually, when you look at the and oh, by the way, the stop on this entire bot setup is a break of these lows. But I don't think we're going through those lows anytime soon. Well, look at that crude. Now it bounces off that 4669. It's crazy kids. Anyway, just gonna leave the stop at where it is. Live by the sword, die by the sword. And the stop's at scratch. So yeah. Okay, back to our rant here. Looking at yield Bitcoin. Futures off about $100. We've now the October futures contract has rolled over, and you can see October is basically dead. There it is there. I think last trading day was like the 27th of October, so it's gone. Right? Can't even look at it now. So we're looking at the November contract now, and unfortunately, when I look at this November contract, oh my goodness, I see Swiss cheese. So, when I do my daily write-ups, long and short of it here is they launched the market up, and now you can clearly see we have 2 pivot highs right up against this 35,600 area on this November futures contract. And we've got 2 key pivot lows against this 33,600 level. So I hate to say it, but I think good old Bitcoin here is basically trapped in a trading range. So top of the range, is 35 and change. Bottom end of the range, 33 and change, which sets up basically a $2,000 price range. I think completely realistic. And hate to say it, I know it's going to drive you all crazy, but I think, and you can clearly see, like based on the profile, that value high, value low. There's the POC. My hunch is they're just going to swim this thing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and drive everybody crazy. As we said with the bot setup, clearly, if we lose this low and you actually see a closing bar below this level here, in fact, I would even say below that closing low. But, if we got a nice close below this 33.3, then I think we are officially into correction mode. Having said that, this is why we trade setups. And they often say, a trader's life, you are paid to be uncomfortable. That's your job. If you want to be a trader, you just got to get used to this. You really don't know what the hell's going to happen here. I will say that the breadth indicator, the whole damn crypto market is overbought now, no doubt about it. But the market can sit overbought for a very long period of time. And the algos, if you understand how algos work, you might just have got to get out, got to get back in, got to get out, got to get back in. You might have a few signals here where just not a hell of a lot's going to happen here as the market just parks itself in this trading range. So just the point I'm trying to make here is I don't really mind the idea of being long this bot, but just understand there's no guarantees from the management one way or the other. And if we lose these lows, well, then if you are trading this, you got to get the fuck out of there. It's just simple as that. So it looks like it's a big hurry up and do nothing. Having said that, it was interesting. One of the sort of value added features of us with our pro membership package that we're doing here, one of sort of the key reasons why a lot of people sort of fell in love with TRI last cycle, and this is speaking to my funny little Twitter thing, my funny little Twitter thing, although I guess you don't call it the little Twitter thing anymore. Do I have Twitter up here? Anyway, somewhere up here, I'll pull up TRIs. I think we have the link to me over here. This idea, we have this fully up and running, and I see no reason whatsoever that by the fall of 2025, maybe even the winter of 2026, we see exactly the same scenario as we go through yet another one of these crypto cycles. So I am just slowly and doggedly continuing to build out the little old lady portfolio. And our CTO wants to get working on earnest. So you can see I've done a bunch of initial purchases. I have banged out some doubles here over the past year, so I'm feeling okay about that. Haven't really done too many sort of second leg purchases, and I haven't done any third leg purchases. So I think probably if we do get a correction here over the next few months, I will be sort of filling out the second purchases tab. And you can see Stuart and I got to do some bookkeeping here. But if anything, this is marching along. I tell all of you guys, you've got to get your shit together. You've got to get loaded up on the names that you like. Some of these names are awesome. Some of them are poop. It's just the way it goes. But the long and short of it here is if you really do want to make money in this upcoming crypto cycle, you better get your act together. And the great part about it is this is sort of the chicken shit approach, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with little old ladies. And you can see the kind of dollar figures that are invested in here. Nothing's really too outrageous. We got a couple larger positions like the Matic, and I think I bought a whack of that UBIC, which I'm probably going to regret, but oh well, shit happens. But the point here is that at minimum, I'd actually like to see these up around $500 sort of minimum purchase for each one. So some I've loaded up on, some I still have to buy some more. So like I said, I'll be doing more purchases over the spring. But this is sort of part of the value added service. And then, and actually in the after party show, maybe we'll have Sjord talk a little bit about this. But you can see Sjord has his sort of good quality names that sort of pass good fundamental screening. And you can see he's loading up on those. And these are our like investment where we're going to take a bit bigger risk, a little bit bigger portfolio management. And some of these names have, all of if any of you have watched that rune, it's taken off here. RNDR, I think Stewart's made already a double or two on that. So he's doing perfectly awesome. But anyway, the point here is this is a big sort of added selling feature that will be embedded on the website and should be a big part of our November Black Friday sales campaign. So that's coming down the pike, and that's what we're working on in earnest. Am I taking any profits on crypto right now? Not really. If anything, thinking about buying a couple ideas like this KAR, going to be working some stink bids. I hope it doesn't run away from me. If anything, I want to see a bit of weakness come into this market. And there's a bunch of names like that are sort of, they're pulling back. You can see there's a bunch of red here. And if they pull back into buying zones, I will be a buyer. There's Sjord's rune. It just keeps marching higher. So this is the quality. This is good quality fundamental research. I think that list itself is worth the price of the subscription alone. Also interesting too. I thought this kind of surprised me. Of course, I got a whack of this on the books just because, I mean, look at that silly price chart. Is there any money to be made on this thing? But what's going on with the CZ? I mean, look at this momentum. Holy crap on a stick, right? This is going to start looking like weekly. Yeah, look at this weekly breakout. Holy crap on a stick. What's going on here? So anyway, it's crypto. We're loaded up on this thing. So let's see where the hell it takes us. Slow and steady wins a race. Hopefully I gave you a pretty good piece there to chew on. Let's see. Are we still in our crude trade or are we busted out yet? Oh, Jesus. Looks like they're running it back up. I hate to say it, but for crypto right now, I think you're just stuck in a trading range. I wouldn't really be in a hurry to exit those bots. But if the M's do come in, well, then you know that the bot got blown out. That's just the way it goes. Okay, let's head on over and chit chat with this Jord Meister. Super excited. Always like to listen to what's on his mind. And of course, I want to see how my little crude short's doing. And I'll keep an eye on this out of the corner of my eye. And look at this. I mean, if anything, this is a really good analogy of an FOMC type market. Like, so you could see well-defined double top. All right, let's get everybody going short. Boom, blast all those stops, jerks. All right, so we got a double top going here. All right, rip it down here. Okay, let's rip it up. People are going, are they going short? Are they going long? I don't know. It looks like they just ran some more stops here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple more washes of this market on both sides through the rest of today. But as it stands right now, I've got my stop and scratch on my runner. I'm using the 3 high-low method. And speaking of which, actually, we have a class here I have to head off to here in about an hour and a half. So if anything, this should be a great conversation for the class on how we're going to manage our 3 high-low method. I'm kind of thinking 1 high, 2 highs, 3 highs, which means I still should have my stop at scratch. If I get a lower market structure high, then maybe I'll move my stop to just above this level. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All right, everybody. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. I like what I'm seeing out of good old CZ. So I think this is CZ's name. I'm always mistaken with this. But anyway, this is looking very interesting given the way the broader crypto market's acting right now. And of course, like I said, come on over to the after party and learn how Sjord does his fundamental research. And I mean, just look at this chart. I mean, just like this thing's got money written all over it. So thank God we got Sjord in our lives to keep us invested in these good quality names. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Hugs and kisses. All the best. And the only thing left for Lawrence is bye for now.